Okay, Mike here from RPM. We have our 20B here all laid out. We have a large street port, ready to go. It's a 3 rotor plate, center plate here. External oil bypass here, where we actually fill the inside of here so the dowel pin doesn't feed any longer. The main reason why we do the dowel pins here, we have all our hardware here for everything. You want to run one solid dowel pin through the entire motor. When you start torquing on a 3 rotor or even a 2 rotor extremely hard, what will happen is the dowel pin can actually break. You can either break, and also this is hollow too, so versus the solid one piece design, which puts them all together. Now it does make it a little bit more difficult to actually assemble the motor, but there are ways around it. Anyway, this dowel pin here would actually go through into here only about that far. So what tends to happen on the 3 rotor fat plate is the front of the motor will keep trying to twist, and you'll either snap off a section of this portion here, or the front plate here, okay, or the back part here, or just crack this whole thing entirely. And this being an oil passage and factory trim creates a bit of a problem. So, not to mention you just destroyed a very expensive plate. All right, so we have everything laid out here. I'm actually just waiting on a bearing to come in. One of the rotor bearings got damaged during balancing, so I had to replace that, or else I would have put this together last week. So you have all our studs here. This one does utilize 5 1/2-inch through studs, go completely through the motor. And then you've got your 2 one-piece solid dowel pins. Okay, and then the rest all factory size here. And then we have 2 short ones here. These 2 short ones here make it possible for us to actually tighten down the rear just to hold it in place while we flip it over to assemble the front. And then we run all these through and tighten them all down. So then you've got all your O-rings, and then really fancy ARP nuts. All our front hardware here, front stationary gear, oil pump drives, and then I just used 4 factory bolts here, and these 2 here to hold the front on while we're doing the rest of the stuff. These 2 here are actually the other ends to these. So you can actually assemble the motor right here. So this goes to the front rotor, and then these are the back 2. And then you got 2 full-length bolts here, 1/2-inch actually, thread into the front plate. And these come in, and people are like, well, why don't you just run a through stud through there? So, well, for one, it comes through the factory casting behind the oil pump here. So you wouldn't be able to run, it would literally come through right here. Anyway, so unlike a billet motor, where it's pretty much just an AN threaded hole, they do have it come straight through here, right here. Anyway, so we got the rest of our goodies here, all laid out, ready to go. We got our goopy Viaton coolant jacket seals here, and then we've got our Tilton twin disc and flywheel for T56. We got our E-shaft over here, fully polished and balanced. This one is a C-code E-shaft, as well as the other one we have. Then we got our front plate here. All things have been blocked off here. We're running the external oil line out of the front of the motor, and it comes directly off the front bearing here and feeds directly in. Okay, and then obviously we're missing a plate here, which the other plate would be our center flat plate, which is already on the stand and ready to go. And that has the other oil feed coming from the back of the motor, which our oil lines are right here. That will feed from the sandwich plate off the rear. So both of these bearings get fed directly off of the rear. Now what we also do is we go one step further and actually put a copper insert, or you could use stainless, either or, down through here, just in case it does crack a rear plate. and you can actually see in the casting here, right here, that's your rear feed here coming down. So what that does is, just in case you crack it, you don't spring a leak all over the place. So you got a copper sleeve in here, actually run one down this way, and then also run one up from the bottom here, and mate them here in the center. Anyway, so moving on, and then your solid dowel pin here will run through all the pieces here. So just picture your center plate there. And then these just stiffen the motor up incredibly and just give it a lot more strength, especially with all the studs. So there's never one thing. We do a lot of different things to strengthen it as a whole. So all this just goes right through the entire motor, just like that. There's the rear, and then you would have your fat plate in the middle of this here, like that. Feeds through. Now there is one more dowel pin that goes down here on the bottom. So you got one down here and one up here, and then you got your rear, which slides together like so. So, and then you'd have your front portion here. You know, so collectively, everything we do here is just to stiffen the factory motor. Now, obviously, billet plates are not going to have the same inherent problems as the cast ones, which are made with, you know, pretty cheap materials as far as that's concerned. It is a auto manufacturer, so they're not going to go too above and beyond on a motor that was only supposed to make 300 horsepower. So then this motor here will actually be good for around 1,300 horsepower. It is a factory E-shaft motor. Now he could go with a better E-shaft and possibly get a lot more. But this one is a street car, surprisingly. Anyway, so, and then we've got our Belta Apex CNC lightened, clearanced rotors here. All ready, these two here are ready to go, and then I got the other one laid out here. So as soon as that bearing gets here, we can get that fixed. But you can see here, it's got two lines going through it. Now I do scuff the surface of the bearing a little bit just to take the silver coating off, which what that is actually intended for is just for storage of the bearing. So it's a good idea to get that off. And just a light scuff, nothing crazy. The break-in period will take care of the rest. We have our groupie apex seals here, and then we have all our seals, springs, and whatnot already resized. But yeah, that's pretty much the 3-rotor in a nutshell. Everything you need to do to make one reliable and extremely fast. Now this motor is a semi. It does have extra intake ports in here, as you can see right there. I'm just going to give them a nice little buff and polish on that part, and they are ready to go. Other than that, that's pretty much it. And next thing you do, we'll do a build video of this entire motor, and then that's it. Thank you. Bye now.